them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please wave your grades to the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. They know side by side you can match their stride to the drum beat and the brass, but they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more emphatic. I'll tell you, it's problematic when you do less than your best, especially when it's because you put your brilliance on pause for the mere peer applause it draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing, I'm saying, you know that you are great, and we know it, so show it. Don't make our heroes wait. In this parade, please wave your grades to the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. For those of you who already do the things that make us proud, your nation in appreciation says thanks to you out loud. Your schoolmates should imitate the way you tap your potential. Let me try to convince them why their effort is essential. Our men and women in uniform, before, during, and after Desert Storm, always perform above the norm, anywhere and everywhere on the planet. They need to follow our heroes' lead, but they cannot lead if they cannot read. Allow me, please, to plant this seed. Don't take freedom for granted. I'm serious, I'm furious to see U.S. schools behind. Remove the clatters, just a matter of making up our minds. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. We believe in you, warriors protect you to do what you must to rise. Please do your part. Please start before another warrior dies. In this parade, please wave your grades to the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. They sacrifice for you. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. Please.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now here is our host, civilian urban educator, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much. Our producer, engineer, announcer, and co-host, DeQuay Wilson, thank you very much for bringing on the program on this very special Saturday for a very special reason, and that will come up as we get ready to introduce our very special guest. In the meantime, if you are interested at any point in calling in to the program, the call-in number is 816-599-6893. That is the call-in number for this hour from 1 until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on KUAW.org for participation in Wave Your Grades. The call-in number during this time is 816-599-6893. Again, my name is Carl Boyd. I am your civilian host. And the reason that we put that in the introduction to the program is because I am blessed to know some very distinguished military personnel, active and veteran. And as we thank them, thank you for your service, we want to make sure that those who tune in understand that we are civilians who are regarding what you do as important enough to say thank you beyond waving flags. Now, therefore, we want our young people, those who are in attendance K through 12, as a matter of fact, beyond is all right with us, to make sure that they strive for excellence in honor of those who serve. And on Saturdays, 1 until 2 p.m., right here on KUAW, many of those distinguished students come on to indeed share their excellence. This afternoon, I am particularly appreciative of the guest appearance of Mr. Phil Jameson, not from a week ago, not from a couple of years ago, not from a decade ago, but Louis George Walker. This is a gentleman who knows us both and goes back a little bit with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. Phil Jameson, welcome to Wave Your Grades.
Hey, thank you very much. I take it my camera is not on.
Not yet, and we would love to have that video exactly. So, oh, there you go.
Okay, live radio.
Now you're talking. As a matter of fact, it's been a minute since I've heard somebody say radio. I always talk about technology in this way. I tell people I'm old enough to remember if you called someone and they answered the phone, you knew where they were. It's a little different now. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Uh, appreciate the people at the station for creating this opportunity. It's well worth it.
Thank you very much. As I mentioned at the beginning of the program, I am a civilian. My oldest brother was a Marine. Next to him was an airman, and the brother closest to me was a soldier. And I pay tribute because they were responsible for my being the first in my family to graduate from college. So you may have some military background yourself you would like to acknowledge, and your being here this afternoon is already acknowledging them.
Well, unfortunately, I was unable to be in the military. Uh, I was at that point in my life where they were drafting individuals.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
at the height of the Vietnam War. Uh, I had a football injury from high school, had a knee cartilage, so I was unable
Wow.
to join. But in my life experiences, I've always had an affinity toward uh, veterans. I feel what they have, uh, their commitment, their discipline, and their sacrifice. Uh, if you poll maybe 100 individuals off the street and ask them to give up their life, their family, their loves, everything they cherish for the love of their country,
My Lord.
to be able to pack up, go somewhere that they may have never ever seen before, and fight for a faith. You know,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you got to commend those individuals.
No doubt about it. And as a matter of fact, I know of your commitment and affinity for them, and our program emphasizes the excellence of young people, the excellence of students. And you have had the, oh, you know what I didn't do, what I wanted to do, introducing the program, is get something of your background for those who are listening and watching. I often talk about having started teaching in 1964 on the south side of Chicago. So my background is education, and I grew up in Chi-Town. Tell us something about Phil Jameson.
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Kansas City.
Yeah.
Uh, in my professional career, started off with Parks and Recreation, was able to develop some activities that worked through the mayor's office. That kind of led me into what my current career is, and that's now in grant writing. And what I presently do is work with 501c3s, uh, non-for-profits, for-profits, uh, different entities, help them to identify funding so that they will be able to continue, their work. Uh, One of the current projects I'm involved in now is working uh, with level entry entrepreneurs, and one of my partners is with the Veterans Affairs, and what we
Yeah.
are trying to do. And let me back up with veterans that are coming back. There is a significant number of them that uh, have PTSD, and there are different levels of that. What we may see, on TV and movies is maybe the extreme version of that. But there are individuals that have, maybe low intense levels of that. And one of the projects I'm doing is working how we can get those individuals in an economic situation where they can be successful, especially given what their challenges and barriers may be. And one of the objectives in this project is working with a 16 to 18 population. What we wanted to do is introduce them to the whole concept in being an entrepreneur. Some of the individuals in high school, they may have heard the term, but they're not fully aware of the nuances and how to be successful. And that's what we try to do. Take it at a beginning level. Well, we call it as an incubator. Well, where we have a system where they can work at their own pace 24/7. We have mentors slash advisors that will provide that support for them. What we have found out in that early entrepreneurial stage is that if individuals don't have a good support system, there's a tendency for them to fail. And especially if you're looking at, say, that diverse population, they may not have been, fortunate to be, in that structure where maybe daddy or mama owned a business and then they're able to, to, carry it over to
Yes,
them.
sir.
Sometimes we got individuals, especially at an early age, that has the desire, but they don't know how to move it forward. They don't know how to craft it. So that's what we try to do, provide that stability with them, that support, and then uh, at at a later stage in this progression, in this development, we can channel them into uh, systems that can take them to another level. And by systems where, you know, they can help them identify more, funding,
Yes, sir.
uh, resources such as personnel, it may be inventory, it may be a structure, it's those particular things. But
Well,
but the main thing is we do not want to diminish that desire, and
absolutely.
that's a true thing about an entrepreneur, and that's almost in any particular thing in life. There's something inside of you that gravitates to something, whatever it may be. And
Let,
that's what we try to do. Try to
outstanding.
make them aware of that
Yes, sir.
and try to hone it.
Let me say to you, by the way, if I should ask you to repeat something, it is because technologically there is some hesitation as we talk to each other. You might need me to repeat something as well, just because of the technology.
Okay.
But I heard what you said there in your introduction, and it leads me to two things. One of the things that I certainly want to do more than once is to offer your contact information for those who might want to get in touch with you. And then I have another question for you. But at this point, if it is appropriate, as this is something that you don't mind doing, will you give your contact information?
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. Uh, I have a we have a website that is currently in construction, and but my email information, Philip Jamerson, Philip two L's, Jamerson, Jamerson 50, the number 50 at gmail.com. And that's a good way to get a hold of me. And as the website will become up and running, I'll be able to transfer that information to the website.
Let me say that if there is someone who wants to speak with Philip Jameson while we are on the air, the call in number again is 816 599 6893. That is Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, 816 599 6893. And Mr. Jameson, when you were talking about those who engage in entrepreneurialism having the opportunity to expand, let me ask geographically, how wide is your expanse as it relates to getting in touch or allowing others to get in touch with you?
Excellent question. Uh, when I first started this journey, and hopefully I got maybe a couple minutes to kind of explain how I got
Please.
on this journey. It all
Yes.
started during the pandemic. And
Oh,
during the pandemic, had a lot of time. And I was looking at uh,
wow.
what can I do to contribute to folks out here. So this notion came upon me about entry level entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Entry level entrepreneurs, especially minorities. First year, it's like an 80% failure rate.
Okay. Okay.
So, so what I was looking at, how do I support those entry level folks, that
Yes.
minority group, so that their failure rate wouldn't be as severe? So that's how I came up to this particular point. And as we moved forward, uh, tweaked it and what have you. But going back to your original question, I originally just started off with just in certain zip codes in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yes.
Then I expanded to a couple more zip codes in Kansas City, Kansas. Now we have expanded to like 23 counties in Missouri and Kansas. And uh,
Oh,
hopefully, in a couple more weeks, be able to share with the audience that we are working with a group in Georgia, a senior citizen group
yes,
in
sir.
Georgia. And let me back up one more thing. Uh, the population that we're working with, and I know for your show, is youth from 16 to 18, but
Wow.
the overall project works from 16 to 116. So we go all the way to the grave.
Outstanding. Let me tell you, it is so important that we persist even when there are setbacks. So when I heard you say 80%, do you find that much of what you have to do is motivational as well as, or perhaps even more than technical?
Well, it's just, I don't believe it's so much motivation because
Okay.
the individual that comes is already motivated.
Yes, sir.
They see the larger picture. But the problem is that most individuals feel that if I work hard,
Yes.
I will be successful. And that is partially true. However, there's so many other things, other variables that is included that entry level entrepreneur may not be aware of. And those are the type of things that we really try to make them aware of. And what we do is a 12-month program.
Okay.
Each month we have a different theme. And like just for instance, we'll start off with a quiz, a 60 question quiz,
Okay.
just to see where the individual is, see if they're even tuned in, if they're cognizant of what is necessary. And then we'll put that to the side so we can come back later and say, hey, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, this is what you were. How do you feel now?
Yes, sir.
You know, so we're able
Wow.
to evaluate, we have some benchmarks, so we're able to evaluate, the whole process.
Let.
But
Oh, go ahead.
the main thing is providing that entrepreneur, that individual with support. With the population we're working with, we realize that there may be interruptions as far as our ability to provide that service. And what I mean by interruption, I would say a significant portion of our population will probably have either a full-time job, maybe a part-time job. They may have a family. So, dealing with these particular things will take priority. It could be a situation where my lights went off. A couple weeks ago, we had a huge storm, interruptions all over the place. Things like that happen.
Yes, sir.
So, so what we try to do is take those things in consideration with that mentor. When that individual has an issue, that mentor is right there that can help them say, hey, you know, what can I do to make this situation better? Or be able to have that participant really fully take a step back and analyze what the problem is and see uh, what are the particular solutions and then
Yes.
proceed from there. So, it's all about, for certain individuals, they may not have experienced, what success looks like. Some of the folks that we're dealing with, uh, they may be surrounded with naysayers.
Yes.
People say you can't be successful. You need to take this shortcut rather than, work 14 hours for a dream.
Well,
So we try to do those things.
let me say this. In my introduction, I was letting those who are with us know how blessed I feel to be honored with your presence. And oftentimes, if you say that about a guest, it may sound like you're being courteous because someone was nice enough to come on the program. In your case, however, I had the privilege of a prior conversation. And I know that you have a passion, most particularly for those who are in challenging situations. Now, the word entrepreneur or entrepreneurialism covers a wide spectrum. With your passion in certain areas, I'm sure you find yourself from time to time with a challenge for Philip Jameson that might not be what you expected. The clientele might be someone who has the wherewithal to begin, but they need to understand the basics as to how to do it. Do you ever find yourself in an arena that surprises you or that particularly challenges Philip Jameson?
Oh, constantly, constantly.
Yes, sir.
It's, you know, and what I do, you never go into a situation with certain level of expectations.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to work with that individual where they are. And then the main thing is it's almost like being a coach on the football team or a
Okay.
basketball team. You have a range, you have a wide range of talent. And I feel that God has given everybody talent. And it's up to individuals to be
Well,
able to bring that talent
yes,
out of
sir.
a person.
Yes,
And and
sir.
and once that individual understands what their talent is, what their role can be in society, and how they can maybe uplift somebody else or maybe even a group of folks, then that person becomes that much more powerful. And then they can turn that into advocacy. And that's the whole purpose. And especially when we deal with the entrepreneur's pledge, you know, uh, there's a good portion of that is not only just being an entrepreneur, making money and having a good life, but how do you help those that are behind you that you can bring up also?
Yes, indeed. Philip Jameson 50 at gmail.com. Philip Jameson 50 at gmail.com. As you observe clientele and or potential clientele, you mentioned COVID, the pandemic. Are there trends as it relates to who or areas of subject matter that seem to flow in particular directions, or tomorrow's client may be totally different from today's client?
Well, I kind of see that in grant writing, we look at statistics.
Yes, sir.
We do a lot of research. And great universities, PhDs out here, they have broken things down and categorize things. And they can tell you if you live in a certain zip code, this is going to be your outcome most of the time.
Wow.
And uh and that's the part that's really frightening. It's like, but that's one of the beautiful things about our country
Yes, sir.
that in other countries you are forced to be in a certain level. You never can break out of it. I don't care how smart you are, you know, how much energy you have, who you know, and what have you. In certain countries, you only can go to a certain level. But in America, you can go to the top. It all depends on you and your energy and what you're willing to pursue.
This is most interesting. Let me ask that you stay with us through a break. Our producer, engineer, announcer, co-host, DeQuay Wilson, and we will be right back.
Okay.
It is time to remind our 7th through 12th grade students that you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization. Yes, we do say organization on purpose, with purpose. Stoots for Boots. Your essay title will be Heroes You Know You Didn't Know Were Heroes. Your content will identify a veteran at your school who can be absolutely anyone: custodian, teacher, coach, cafeteria worker, absolutely anyone. If your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult who gives you permission to read it on this Waive Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. For entry or inquiry, please submit to stootsforboots@gmail.com. That is STOOTSFORBOOTS, stootsforboots@gmail.com. Now, back to our host, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much to Quay Wilson. And of course, to Quay, chime right in when you have something to ask or declare.
Absolutely.
Philip Jameson 50 at gmail.com. It is very intriguing to listen to your background and the way you arrived at where you are. Does a Philip Jameson look at the landscape and say, I think I'll teach people how to write grants? Or was there something in particular that captured you? And by the way, your just saying it, my just saying it, whomever it is, doesn't mean that I become proficient at it. Now you are helping others. How did you jump into it? Did it take a while, or was this an easy, smooth flow into helping the rest of
uh,
us?
uh, it was a situation uh, where I was managing a project, and individuals know that a lot of times you may not have all the goodies that you may need in order to make these things work.
Yes, sir.
So naturally, you will go to your supervisor or someone else in leadership or authority.
Yep.
Say, hey, I need some extra coins, funds, support, whatever. 9 out of 10 times they said, nah, can't help you. You need to go out there and try to hustle yourself. So that's where that entrepreneurism starts coming in.
Wow.
I cannot handle life. I have a passion for what I do, for the people that I engage with. So it's in order for me to fulfill that mission, I need to do what it takes. And let me back up. Don't want to get religious on folks, but a long time ago, made a pact with God and said, if you allow me to do certain things, I'm there with you.
Yes.
So I've been blessed.
Yes, sir.
So going back to the story about grant writing, I stumbled and fumbled and bumbled my way through. Decided to take some
Wow.
courses and got a little bit more proficient. Uh, Started to develop my own little business for
Y-
grant writing.
yes.
Work with different organizations. Work with a lot of talented individuals. Been able to provide support dollars and what have you. So I just feel that I'm fortunate. Uh,
Oh, man.
I enjoy what I do. I enjoy being able to see the the benefits of additional funds for organizations, especially for those small size organizations. You know, 5, 10, $15,000 can make or break a lot of
Yes,
organizations.
sir.
And basically what I try to share with uh, organizations and their leadership is all about communicating, articulating your story, and especially being able to cultivate that audience that you're looking at trying to engage
Yes.
with. You just not can walk up to a funder and say, "Hey, this is who we are. Just give me some money." It doesn't take that. It's not like that. You know, uh, in this town, this state, I mean, there's a multitude of non-for-profits. Multitude. There's more non-for-profits and what they desire, and there is money that is available.
Yes, sir.
So it's a very, very competitive business. Uh, your more successful organizations that have dollars, They have a whole office of nothing but grant writers.
Okay.
That's all they do,
Okay.
24/7.
N-
And as I said, it's very competitive. Uh, in this business, you have to learn how to accept uh, no's,
Yes, sir.
rejection,
Wow.
and 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 you feel that you put a lot of time and effort in your work, and you feel and you know that the people that will benefit from it really need it, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. So being that entrepreneur, you cannot allow that. You can't take it personally.
Okay.
You just you just take that information. You just work that much harder.
You are
You just
you
need to present your case that much better.
you are really answering my next question. And oftentimes, those of us who have played a little ball, I played basketball when I was in high school, so I could call myself an athlete. Uh, I wasn't no star athlete. My best friend, Robert Tops, used to call me a judge because I spent all my time on the bench. But sometimes I heard you mention athletics. We like to use athletic analogies and or personal references. I would like to find out from you, and you said stumbling and bumbling. Something has just kept you going. And I'm interested in that, of course. But let me ask you this question. Some of us who are older stereotype that age group, 16 to 18. Do you find that the young people follow through, or are some of the stereotypes truth?
uh, there's a small group that will follow through. Uh, what I have found with young people that they're like sponges. They want to soak up information. Uh, they want to be successful. They don't know what it takes to be successful, and they don't know what it takes to sustain that successability. It's just they just think it just falls out of the sky, and you can't fault them. If you put a child
Whoa.
as a blank slate,
Okay.
you come in this world, you know nothing, and then you
Okay.
want to assimilate because the inner portion of you says you have a survival. You need to survive. So how do you survive? You need to fit in with your environment, wherever that may be.
Yes, sir.
And uh, like the group that you are working with, like for with them, being able to just go to school
Yes.
and come home is, I mean,
Yes, sir.
that's a major thing.
Yes, sir.
When I was going to school, uh, we didn't have those shooting drills. You
Can
know,
you
we didn't
imagine?
have to
My
ask.
Lord. Y-
We didn't have to worry about metal detectors.
Thank you.
So, uh, you know, teachers had a different mindset that their role was how to instruct a child in this particular subject. They didn't have to worry about, you know, other folks in the classroom disrupting, and the whole
Thank
nine
you.
yards. Uh,
That is so true.
my whole thing is, especially in grant writing, and I know this may digress, and I apologize, but uh, going into statistics, the state of Missouri, my proud state, the home of the Chiefs, we rank dead last in the country as far as what we pay teachers uh, uh, entry level.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes,
in
sir.
my times, way back when you always look at who's the bottom end in education in this country, it was always the same folks: Mississippi, Alabama,
My
West
Lord.
Virginia. You know, how in the heck did Missouri ever wind up in that point. Another story, another story.
All right.
But I feel that to a child who's maybe 15, 16 years old, they see a rapper making all this money. They see a Mahomes making millions, and they don't understand what it takes.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
it's the shortcut. They don't see maybe instead of playing, maybe I own the team. Instead of
Being,
shopping,
yeah.
instead of shopping at Macy's, maybe I can own a store like Macy's. You know,
Yes.
when you look at
Yes.
Amazon, how did he first start off? He had a desire.
Yes, sir.
He went into his garage. The rest is history.
Well, let
They
me.
laughed at him.
Oh, uh, not not anymore.
Right, right. So
But
my whole thing is folks have that inner desire. I
yes,
mean,
sir.
they can feel it. And it just has to be nurtured, has to be surrounded with people that will support that individual,
Yes.
motivate them,
Yes.
pump them up.
Now let me say again, if someone is interested, they can call us at 816-599-6893. And I wanted to see if DeQuay Wilson had a comment and or a question. And Philip Jameson, I want you to know that so often in the program, after we sign off, DeQuay has the most profound observations on the planet, and we
Oh, I'm
don't
sure of
always
that.
get them on air or just a very simple but pertinent question. I just, DeQuay, if there is, let us know. Now, go right ahead. Oh, you go ahead, please.
No, I'm saying I don't have anything to add at this time. I tend to learn a little bit more when I sit and listen than I do when I speak.
And she is responsible. You wouldn't have had occasion to pay attention to my acronym when I said she's the producer, engineer, announcer, and co-host that spells speech, and she is a
Hey,
peach. You know Louis George Walker, and he has come back into the studio, and he always lets our audience know how they can access KUAW.org. What he doesn't always tell us is that he is the founder, and KUAW stands for Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. And so, to give the particulars, here is Mr. Louis George Walker.
Yes, and thank you, Carl. This is Louis George Walker with KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Radio. And you're listening to us. If you're listening and watching live, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're also on our audio side, going out on 100.5 FM, KOJH Radio in the historic Jazz District of Kansas City, Missouri. And you can pick us up on your TuneIn app, on Get Me Radio app, on the online radio box, on MyTuner and radio.com. Also, you can pick us up if you've got a smart speaker. If you've got a Google or Amazon speaker, tell it to play KUAW Radio, and it will play it for you. We're on that. We're also on Roku, that you can pick us up there, and on Apple TV. Just search KUAW Radio for all the places you can listen, and you can pick up our shows 24 hours a day. We do live, but we also do jazz, blues, old school music, just all varieties and genres that you can hear. So listen to KUAW Radio 24/7, 365 days of the year. Thank you.
And before you go, as a matter of fact, Philip Jameson, KUAW.org is housed at the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center on Linwood Boulevard. But you can be heard all the way to 75th Street, can't you?
I think the last time that picked it up, and that's where working with the historic jazz district, they were getting at least the 63rd. It might be 75th, but it's a low power FM station. We get over into Kansas City, Kansas. We go out to 63rd Street and just around the metro area. So if you're driving in the city, you can pick us up on 100.5 FM. And if you have a Bluetooth speaker or connection in your car, which most cars have nowadays, just pull us up on your phone and let it come through the speakers there. I was able to listen to KUAW all the way to California.
Now, let's talk
Hey.
about the real deal. If Louis George Walker told you the call to KUAW from the furthest destination, little beyond 75th Street, how far from where have you heard an inquiry about KUAW?
Well, I tell you, the farthest one that we had actually came when we had the music group that, what's his name?
I know who you're talking about. Yes, sir.
But he works with the young kids and teaches them music. And he was on our show before he went to NBC and was on the Today Show. We had him first here.
That's right.
And those young people played, and we got a call in later from Vietnam
Thank you.
of someone that had heard the show.
Outstanding. And, you know what, Philip Jameson, let me impose in a way, but the gentleman is just so kind. I would like to ask Louis George Walker for a moment at least to tell us a little bit about how KUAW started. We're talking about entrepreneurialism, Brother Walker, and he works with youngsters 16 to 18 years old. But Philip Jameson, if you would listen just a moment to a little bit of Mr. Walker's story.
Well, KUAW Radio is part of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. That is the 501c3 that is the umbrella for KUAW. And KUAW Radio was started by just one of those coincidences that Mr. Leon Dixon was flying with a gentleman that said he helped people get radio stations started. And he talked with Leon, and Leon turned him on to me, and he says, hey, I can fill out the applications. And we had before I knew it, we had an application in for a low-power FM radio station. And that was one of the blessings of starting this radio station off. And we've just been blessed with help with people coming through.
Man.
Our mixing board comes from an NPR station that was located in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the guy says you can get it, you can have it for free, but you got to come get it. We can't ship it to you. So that's when I was listening to KUAW on my way out to California. 'Cause I told the wife, we're going to make a trip.
Thank you.
And went out and got it and brought it back. So, it's just been a labor of love. And some of the young people that have worked here and had shows on, we had a young lady that was 8 years old that was doing a show for a while, Kennedy's Corner. And we've had some high schoolers. Raytown Middle School had a broadcast club that one of our hosts started. He's a teacher over there.
Yes.
And they had a couple of years of a show from Raytown Middle School.
There you go.
And we're actually talking, or we talked last year, we'll probably start back this year, of seeing if we can work with the Boys and Girls Club Thornbury unit and see if we can get a broadcast club started over there.
Wow. And so, Brother Philip Jameson, 50@gmail.com. Inspirational moment, any reflections or responses to what you heard?
Well, once again, kudos to the leadership for creating this entire platform. Being able, as a participant, as a recipient, being able to have access to information. That's always the challenge.
Yes, sir.
As a grant writer, that's the number one thing that I try to work with. I try to put that in all my grants, is being able to provide access to individuals. Folks cannot grow, people cannot improve, behavior patterns cannot change unless they have access to And in today's society, it's a challenge to be able to get access. It's a challenge to be able to navigate your way to find that information. It's out there, but there's so many barriers, so many challenges for an individual to be able to get to it, to be able to comprehend it, and then be able to proceed.
Absolutely. Brother Walker, were you saying something there?
Well, I was just saying, there's amen to that. Is providing access. I would definitely agree, and doing the legwork that it takes as a organization to find that, to provide the access for the other people. So it's two forms of access. One is for the nonprofit to get access, and then two for them to get the access to the people that need that access.
Right.
We have robotics teams here that we've ran for the last since 2008, and finding out about the robotics teams and finding support for the robotics team, then getting students to join the robotics team. You know,
Yes, indeed.
it's a whole process all the
Yes.
way around. But I was so happy this week, matter of fact, that I talked to Mr. Ed King over at KMBC, and one of our robotics students that graduated from MU came and he said, Mr. Walker, so glad you introduced us to NESB and technology. He graduated in IT, and I called Ed King over at KMBC, and he wants to see his resume and stuff because they have a fellowship program
Wow.
that to try and get this young man in. And we worked with him, I think, from the 8th grade or 9th grade all the way up. And he went off to college and now doing something, with what he's learned. Not that it was all because of us,
No, no.
but we
that's a
did
critical
have
part. That's a
something
critical
else
piece.
for him to do.
Yes, sir.
And if I could just chime in on that, and I believe Mr. Walker is not taking enough credit
Thank you.
because providing that
Thank
structure,
you.
that discipline, you know, that individual may not have been able to rise to the level that uh, that they attain. One thing I can say in everybody's life, they can always look back, and there was an individual or
Thank you.
individuals early on that guided them.
Yes, sir.
I just
So yes,
I just want to tell you,
I tip my hat, to the organization, to
Yes.
be able, unless a person, when someone provides that pie out of the sky, unless a person may have said, that's going too far. I don't think so. Maybe another time. But to be able to understand what can take place by just making that extra effort.
Here's the quote.
And right. And to have somebody come back years later and say, hey, if it wasn't for you folks, where may I be?
My Lord. Go ahead, DeQuay Wilson.
I just wanted to confirm for you that Mr. Walker is not taking credit for all that he invests in
Oh,
these children.
seriously?
I sit in this room on Saturday with two of the most humble men that I have probably met in my lifetime, both Carl Boyd and Louis George Walker. These are
Well,
two of the
thank
most
you.
humble men that I have met, and they give so much more than they're willing to take the credit for. But both of them are amazing men.
And my blessing is having the opportunity to get acquainted with people like Louis George Walker. That's it really, very seriously. We're coming to the end of the hour. Would like to find out, as a matter of fact, in this instance, in as much as I have had the privilege of three guests this afternoon, if either DeQuay or Louis George Walker have any closing things to say before um, our very special guest, Philip Jameson.
As always, I want to thank you too for what it is that you do, but I also want to wish you the most success in your endeavor with the students and the youth that you are working with, and them much success as well.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
And Philip Jameson, please close us out.
Well, once again, uh, I enjoy the platform. I enjoy the leadership. Uh, you individuals have put forth a lot of time, effort, in creating an environment for young folks to be able to grow, to feel comfortable, to feel safe and secure. The knowledge that you individuals impose on our young folks, I mean, those are jewels. Hopefully, they'll be able to take those
Yes,
and
sir.
be able to expand upon those, and they will remember these jewels that you have deposited with them, years from now.
Thank you so very, very much. Philip Jameson50 at gmail.com. We're talking about entrepreneurialism. We are talking about particular populations. And by the way, I wanted to say this earlier in the form of a question, I guess, but I suspect that your clientele goes beyond the immediate geography and or description so that you're not limited.
Oh, without a doubt. Uh, and I know we pressed for time. One of the fascinating aspects of this project, I had started small. And as I went on this journey, the situation has grown. So uh, I feel very comfortable, my confidence high,
Yes,
and I really appreciate the folks that I'm working with,
yes.
that they're the ones who are making this whole project work.
All right. Thank you so very, very much because those who call upon you can be confident that they will receive the services requisite to success. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Philip Jameson.
Thank you very much.
And here is DeQuay Wilson.
Well, I would like to thank our guests and our
Yeah.
listener for joining us on your Stoots for Boots Wave Your Grades program. We do come to you live every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now, our host, Carl Boyd, will close with either Carl's commentary on academic patriotism or his daily message for students in honor of our veterans from his book, Morning Messages.
Or both. As a
Or
matter of
both.
fact, yes, indeed. We have, to close the program, Philip Jameson and I will do Carl's commentary. But the book Morning Messages has a message for American students for 366 days in the year, and I give today's message. So before today's message, Carl's commentary, and the reason I did that, Sister DeQuay Wilson, is because I was looking at the very first book I wrote, which is called Plain Teaching. Plain Teaching, 49 Lessons on Becoming a Positive Teacher. And in the back, I have epigrams. And I was looking at them and I said, each week I'm trying to look for something for the commentary. And I thought, I'm just going to borrow from my own book these short epigrams and then offer today's message. So I was looking at one, and this is for teachers. So here's one of the epigrams that I wrote. It's not the method in your class, it's the class in your method. And then one of the other ones that I wrote and put in the book, the key to success is turning it. And so it is. For commentary, I'll just do those little brief sayings from 1991. But as it relates to the young people who are grades 6 through 12, we don't mind those younger if they join us, but to say every day of the week to students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day. So this is August 10th. They face explosive devices. You face a difficult test. For all that they face to keep you protected, they deserve your absolute best. And so it is. Wave your grades. Honored by Philip Jameson. Thank you, Louis George Walker, and a peach, our producer, engineer, announcer, and co-host, DeQuay Wilson. My name is Carl Boyd, gracious God and wonderful Wanda. I'm on my way home.